Yo, what is up, y'all? We got absolutely blessed with a crazy trailer that dropped just about 2 hours ago, and I'm just gonna get right into the breakdown. This is what we've been waiting for. This is the trailer that we have been waiting for. There's no other way to put it. I don't know why this didn't drop a month or so ago to generate even more hype, but 2 million views in 2 hours. It's getting some views, and rightfully so. So let's get right into this crazy good trailer for Rise of the Beasts. But we're getting right into it. We got Optimus Primal and Air Razor. Just Optimus Primal swinging like King Kong through the forest. You see Air Razor up ahead of him. And then we cut to an overhead shot where we see Cheetor, Rhinox, and Primal walking through this creek area. Looks to be the same area we saw in the first trailer where Optimus runs into the Maximals for the first time. Then we get another shot of, I think, one of the first shots we get in the original teaser trailer where we're kind of like going up this hill into the forest. And this time we see Cheetor running through the brush. Then we get another really cool shot of Air Razor just flying past the camera. We get some exposition of Optimus Primal kind of talking about, well, we've been hidden on Earth, but the darkness has found us again, and a huge cloud is kind of coming over. We see it coming into New York City. We have Primal talking to Prime now, as Prime is probably, this is probably towards the beginning of the movie. We got Optimus transforming. We saw some of this shot earlier in the last trailer with Optimus transforming in this dark, rainy, it's probably like a truck yard or a bus yard. But Optimus Prime just looks so much better. Just looking at that CGI, it is such a vast improvement from the first trailer. Optimus is always going to be Optimus, but he definitely has a bit of a tonal difference in this movie. A lot of the shots we see, he's looking a lot more serious, as we'll later see when when Mirage brings Noah in with the rest of the Autobots. He picks him up and he looks pissed. But continuing here, we got Primal, who looks really good when he's talking, and then we get a little bit of a reveal of what I believe is going to be the MacGuffin, the item they're chasing after in this movie. It looks like this little crystal or this little rock thing, and it clearly gets activated. We see that's Dominique Fishback's character looking. I don't know if she's looking up at it or she's underneath it or it's just a perspective shot, but she's there in that shot as well, it looks like. But we just see this thing absolutely erupt, and then we cut to a really nice looking shot of Prime in the distance looking at this beam of light seemingly erupting from this crystal that is shooting up into the sky. And my prediction, what we're about to get more reveal later in this trailer, is that this crystal is calling to Unicron. But really cool looking shot. And well, there you go. We get the reveal right there where Primal says Unicron is coming. And oh my God, look at this shot. I am blown away that they are doing this in this movie. It seemed like they already had a lot going on, juggling with all these characters. You got the Maximals, you got the Autobots, you have the Terracons they're fighting against. And it could have been a very contained to the planet movie, and I was expecting Unicron to show up maybe in a post-credit scene. But look at this. He is here in the flesh. He looks fantastic. This is, I mean, look at this live-action representation of Unicron. This is an extremely accurate-looking planet mode. This is a badass-looking planet mode. And my mind is just going to all the third-party companies that are going to make crazy live-action Unicrons off of this depiction. Now, will we see him transform in the movie? I don't think so. I think that they'll save this for the end. Maybe we'll see him start to transform in like a post-credit, but I don't know if they're going to reveal that all or be able to have everything go on in this movie and defeat Unicron at the same time. But we'll see, because it looks like Unicron is going to play a somewhat significant role in this movie at a point. Will that be at the end, or will he be there towards the midway point, though? But transferring back into some more basic shots, not like these grand super scale shots. We get some more of Noah when he's first meeting Mirage. And I do have to say, they did a great job with the music in the first trailer with Biggie. And this one, they've got a DMX remix. So I am absolutely loving the vibe these trailers are giving off, even more with it just being Transformer stuff. But we get some more shots of Noah kind of taking off with Mirage, Mirage pulling up to the hangar where the Autobots are meeting, and his transformation looks really good. Also, I love that it does not sound like Pete Davidson, but that's really the case for all the Transformers, other than Peter Cullen and Primal, of course. They're voice actors. They obviously sound somewhat more similar to the voice actors because that's just makes sense for their character. But the rest of them do a great job disguising the actors' voices as the bots. Like Mirage doesn't sound like Davidson. The other robots don't sound like necessarily their actors. Even when Scourge talks a little bit later in the trailer, you can't really hear Peter Dinklage in his voice, and that just goes to show how great the performances seem to be for this voice acting. But we see Noah is still pretty freaked out, and then Prime comes walking in looking badass, and he has his battle mask on. He's pissed off. You brought a human here. Noah's trying to explain himself away, but Prime picks him up. Cool looking scene. Then we get a little bit more of an extended shot of the I guess I want to call it like mountain highway chase scene or mountain road chase scene, whatever it is. They're out in like the countryside or whatever. Maybe this is Malta, and we've got Mirage as bots are tumbling down around him. But we see Battletrap launch his toe and hook onto Nightbird, and this is a real cool shot, and Nightbird keeps driving down the road, and this allows Battletrap to whip around and then shoot the rocket that we see from the previous shot right at RC as she's holding on the wheeljack, and it goes through the car door, etc. But we see Nightbird transform here as she gets launched in the air, and she looks pretty damn good. Well, maybe, now that I'm thinking about this, maybe it's not Nightbird that Battletrap launches onto. It kind of looked like it for a second, but it looks like Nightbird is actually in more of the rear of this chase behind Mirage, so maybe that's just the grunt that Battletrap launches onto, but it looked like Nightbird. But Nightbird looks pretty damn cool as she's transforming. We don't even get to see the full transformation. But then, boom, we get to see our big three villain cast. You got Battletrap, Scourge, and Nightbird walking out of the water, confirming from the first trailer that those meteors we see arrive are not the Autobots or are not more good guys showing up to help. It is the Terracons arriving and crashing into Earth. But they look cool as hell walking out of the water. Scourge has that like burning fire design in his chest. I love the orange and the red accents in their faces. They just look pretty damn cool. And then we get another cool shot of Cheetor just pouncing on Mirage, pinning him to the ground, assumedly when they're first meeting. And then we also get Airazor talking for the first time. Airazor looking really cool with her whole face design, with all of the kind of hawk bird design all in like the neck area with all the feathers in the top of the head, with the beak and the eyes obviously being heavily metallic, with the wings of course. But Airazor has a really cool mixed design. Similar, I'd say even cooler than Primal when it comes to mixing in the animal parts. Although I love Primal's design, Airazor just has like that perfection, and it looks really damn good. The visuals are such an improvement from the first trailer, and people are losing their minds over it. But this is what you need to wait for. That these studios, this is the reality of filmmaking nowadays. Marvel Studios, the biggest one of all, they're working on the quality of the animation up until the point the movie is released, and while it's still in theaters. Like, people don't need to forget, I saw Spider-Man Far From Home on opening night on the Thursday. I believe it was a Thursday, even though the global release is on a Friday, and the version I saw was different from the version that people were seeing the next day, where they literally were going in and editing the CG around the portals when the other Spider-Man walked up. And that's just an example of what I'm trying to say, where people were so quick to judge a lot of the small animation mistakes from the first trailer, but this official theatrical trailer is just really quelling a lot of those concerns, because honestly, it looks great. But continuing on, we get another shot of kind of the cast arriving in, I believe, Peru, and we see the human cast followed by Mirage, RC, Stratosphere in the background, not really leading to the belief that he's going to transform, as he's just landed here, assumably with nobody in him. And pause. And he's just here, not transforming. So, are we going to get another case of a toy being made out of just a random vehicle in a Transformers movie? I hope not. I hope we get to see Stratosphere. But this is when they arrive in, I believe, Malta. And we see the entire, we see Primal, Cheetor, Wheeljack, Pablo Wheeljack, and RC from a new side perspective. This is a really cool shot of all four of them. And again, I'll just say about Wheeljack's design, really not the biggest fan of it overall, but it is indeed growing on me. I think it's just because they had such a perfect design in the Bumblebee movie, and they kept RC very similar, they kept Prime very similar, they kept Bumblebee very similar, but it seems like Wheeljack went through a 360 degrees makeover, and I'm honestly a big fan of like the body design. I think it's kind of like a more tooled up, more like fit in a way Mudflap. It gives me a lot of Mudflap vibes from Revenge of the Fallen. And the face, I mean, we saw like very briefly at the end of the teaser, which I posted yesterday if you haven't seen it, that the face plates do come up, the fins do come around his face, and hopefully he does have a face guard, which would make it look a lot more accurate. But still, I'm pretty excited to see Wheeljack more than any of the other guys in this movie at this point. But real cool shot of them lining up there, and then wow, we get a crazy shot of, now I believe this is Brazil. Maybe it's Brazil, maybe it's not, but it looks like that the statue that is in or is it Rio de Janeiro? I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'm sorry. You can kill me in the comments down below. But it looks like that's the statue that over there, down there in the hill. And Unicron is coming down and looks absolutely menacing. And I do have to point out, it does look somewhat similar to these Unicron spikes or pyres that he has near his mouth that we saw towards the end of the last night, but they were also jutting out all around Earth, which really wouldn't make too much sense because these are all obviously focused towards his quote-unquote like mouth area of Unicron. But another thing to point out, it looks like the spire that is closest to us is actually cut and jagged or cut off and damaged, so maybe Unicron picked a fight with somebody before and he got his ass kicked. But wow, Unicron just looks great so far in these brief shots we got of him. Then we get Noah's character saying, how big can this guy be? And Mirage kind of explaining to him, he eats planets. So then we get a shot of Scourge going within Unicron. This is obviously somewhere within him. And oh, look, I'm just noticing this now as I'm rewatching the trailer right now. Scourge's face, which is pretty much the Terracon logo, is right there on Unicron at the top of that little crest of the open area where the light's coming out. But we see Scourge on this platform here going up towards this light, and we get Unicron's eyes here. So while this isn't necessarily an indication that he's transformed, this is obviously within him, and we've seen that many times before where like Transformers can move where their faces appear within their quote-unquote vehicle mode, even though Unicron's vehicle mode is a planet. For example, even in the Bumblebee movie, when Haley Steinfeld's character is fixing up Bumblebee when she's underneath the car, he like ignites his face and moves his face around underneath the car. So this is just an example of this. I'm not gonna jump to conclusion to say he's transforming here. I just don't think that's happening because his eyes are also pretty close together, and it wouldn't really make sense for it to be, unless it's just a tricky perspective shot they're throwing us off. But then we cut back to Mirage, who's kind of explaining to the human characters that Unicron is not a force to be messed with. He's like way bigger than a planet. But then we get Bumblebee jumping out of stratosphere, activating his battle mask in the air, and just dual cannon blasting a bunch of these sphere. I'm assuming they're just like mini drones of Unicron because they don't really look like Transformers. They look like just kind of cannon fodder. But honestly, I don't mind it because this is something new. It's not just more hundreds of foot soldier Transformers that are going to be nameless that all look the same. They're going to get killed off. Obviously, we see that later in the trailer. I don't have an issue with that, but it is cool to see some more variety to the enemies. But then we get Scourge up close talking, and he says, and man, Scourge just looks absolutely fantastic, but he says, in the end, everything you cared for, and we just get some shots of our human characters, him stabbing Bumblebee, will be consumed. And so cutting back to that shot of him stabbing Bumblebee. Battle Trap is right behind Scourge. We know Scourge is looking down on Prime. He whips around as Bumblebee's coming, stabs him directly through the abdomen. That is directly through his stomach, all the way through, right through the back. We can see the Energon blood go pumping through the air. I mean, this is a fatal blow, and he shoots him, boom, blows him to hell right there while he's connected to his blaster. And we cut away from that shot before we even see him go limp like we did in the first one. And we just cut to our human characters getting explosions from behind them. Obviously, it's probably like the Terracons catching up with them, trying to get the information they know, or trying to get the artifact that we saw earlier from them. But here's what I just want to throw this out here. We see Bumblebee jump out of the plane, which isn't later in the movie, presumably. Or maybe it's not. Maybe this is the fight, like Bumblebee's jumping in, and then it happens later in that night. But Bumblebee's not going to die. Let me just say this. They did this in the Last Night trailer, where they showed Prime kicking Bumblebee's teeth in and breaking him over breaking his back over his knee, ripping off his doors. They already did this. They show Bumblebee in the trailer getting absolutely blown. Okay, pause. They show Bumblebee in the trailer just getting his chest blown up. And I don't think they're just going to casually show Bumblebee's death like that. And in these character shots we get, that like the teaser we got yesterday, and then the shot we'll get later in this trailer where it's kind of showing them lining up going into the battle, we don't see Bumblebee initially with them, but then we see him at the very end of the trailer. So clearly he's alive, and we don't see AirRaiser in this lineup either. So my assumption is AirRaiser and Bumblebee are on more of a reconnaissance mission, or they're attacking from a different angle, or they're doing something more stealth orientated, because that's just Bumblebee's a scout, AirRaiser's a scout. They're the speed builds. I mean, it makes sense. So I don't think we need to get worked up over Bumblebee. I don't think we have to worry about that. But continuing with our human characters, we see them open this or vault, or this tomb. I believe this is also in Malta. I mean, or Machu Picchu. Not Malta. I keep saying Malta. You know, I've been saying Malta this entire video, and that's completely wrong. It's Machu Picchu. I keep saying Malta because I was just thinking about the damn Jurassic World Dominion movie. But I apologize. Every time I've said Malta, I mean Machu Picchu. But they pretty much open this tomb, and the question is, who's in the tomb? I wouldn't be surprised if this is where we got like a Megatron or some shit. But even after we got the Unicron reveal, it's thinking like it's going to be a little much to see Megatron in this. But man, if Unicron is one of the more central parts of the mid to end movie, I want a Megatron post-credit scene, because there's like no Decepticons in this movie, which I don't have an issue with. But to be holding off Megatron for this long, clearly they have some plans for him. Clearly he's going to be a force in either this number 3 or number 4. But I mean, I'm thinking we're going to see Megatron, or at least someone else, in this tomb that our human protagonists are uncovering. But they're just talking. Maybe there's another way to save our home, yada yada. But then we get another shot. Okay, so this is not Rio de Janeiro. I was wrong. This is not Brazil. So that's the thing that was sticking out of the ground. This is probably just some... I mean, this is probably like where this tomb is, if we're looking at it. Like, we see this blue light emanating from the ground close to the camera. We see somebody flying in. Who is that flying in? Let's see. Let's back this up for a second. Who is this flying in? There's a couple people flying in here. It looks like we've got a couple of those little drones, which are like the small little balls. And then I want to guess maybe... Is it Scourge? I mean, who the heck could that be transformed? Scourge is a truck, but it has like that burning orange color emitting from the back of it with a bunch of smoke. So unless it's somebody getting shot down, maybe it's someone arriving. Maybe it's Scourge in a different alt mode, but honestly, I am not sure, because that doesn't look like AirRaiser, or it doesn't look like Nightbird per se. And those are the only two flying bots in this movie. So... Or Stratosphere, but that's definitely not Stratosphere. But we will see. And then we get this shot that we got yesterday of them kind of just walking up. We see a little bit better of a perspective, actually, of Wheeljack's ear fins popping out. And they are actually a bit more underwhelming than I thought. They do have the ear fins there, but it's not like... They're not, like, giant. And it doesn't look like he puts a battle mask on here, but... Okay, I'm okay with the design. We get Optimus saying, let them come for the 45,000th time in the franchise. And boom, we see Unicron colliding with the planet. This is not Earth, though. If we look closely, this is in space. And it's probably the moon. Honestly, we're going to see the moon probably get destroyed again. But it almost looks like there's some Cybertronian structure on the planet, unless those are just rocks getting blown. Which honestly, very well could be just rocks. But we do get a preview here of Unicron just decimating and consuming a planet, which is going to be really damn cool to see in live action. He's got all these like spikes out to the side from his main mouth area, and really damn cool looking. But then we see, is this Air Razor? We see this shot where Bumblebee's getting stabbed, where they're fighting in this like little maybe this is actually a different Terracon. Maybe this is who we see in that shot a second ago who's flying, because it looks like he's shooting at, not at Scourge, or he or she, whoever this bot is not shooting at Scourge. It's shooting off to presumably the Autobots on the ground defeated next to him. But, and he's got some spikes on his back, so maybe this is another Terracon that we haven't gotten a reveal for yet. But then we see Dominique Fishback doing some damn parkour over a lava pit, wherever the hell that's at. But it is a brief shot, only like a second and a half, if that. Should we see her hanging from some structure? I want to say this is Unicron, but I can't see this being on Unicron. I'm guessing this is just in the temple that gets like this is the temple that's on the mountain in Machu Picchu, where we see Unicron coming down, and then maybe this is just maybe it's above a it's like an inactive volcano that gets uncovered or something like that. But honestly, I'm not too sure. Then we get a pickup of this shot from earlier in the trailer where we see Battletrap whip around and shoot the rocket at RC. RC kind of has to skid off to the side, allowing the rocket to go through. But it doesn't look like the door's open on the other side of Wheeljack, so I hope he doesn't just take that blow, because RC didn't want to let it hit her. But I'm pretty sure Wheeljack's just going to swing open his door and the rocket will go flying through. But we see another human character kind of getting hype as he sees Noah in Mirage absolutely evading the cops, and we get some more perspective of that. And then boom, we jump to another one of these absolute money shots where we see the Maximals along with Optimus Prime rushing into the fight. And I do like the way they're sizing next to Prime here. Obviously, when we saw Optimus Prime will stand up next to Prime on two legs, he was about the same height. But when they're rushing into battle here, he is a few pegs smaller, which does look good. We see Wheeljack all the way off to the side. We see Cheetor straight back. Obviously, we can't get the best quality with the zooming here, even though it is HD. This is like obviously not going to be the best quality when you're like trying to break it down and look at these small details. But they all look really good running in. Is that RC too? I keep replaying that. So I think we see RC on the far left next to Wheeljack as the shot first starts. Yep, RC is driving into battle, and it looks like someone is riding her. Maybe that's Dominique Fishback, but I'd be more inclined to say that's a hologram, because I don't think she's driving a human right into the thick of this battle. But then we see Primal just going apeshit on a couple Scorponoks, and obviously Scorponok is one character, but I believe they're going to just use a bunch of Scorpions like this, because he just kills one like this pretty easily. So I believe they're just going to use Scorponok as kind of like a like an overall name for all of these guys. If not, they're just like the Scorpion drones. And who is that? Someone else fighting on the bridge? Let's see. Looks like we got more of a small character up there fighting on the bridge. Oh, that looks like it's looks like we have Noah, and we see Mirage toss him this little like he gives him the quote unquote keys of the car, and it looks like it starts turning into like a mech suit similar to what we had used by all the human characters like Spike and Daniel and all them in the 80s movie and cartoon. So, and now we have like this really small character in what looks like some kind of suit blasting at presumably more of these like Terracon minions. So that is a pretty cool reveal there, that we are going to be getting like an exosuit for our human characters, so they're not going to be completely useless. But Primal just absolutely bitching everything, looking like King Kong swinging in the battle, swinging down to a lower level, just grabbing more of these Scorpions, ripping them apart. This is all one shot too. It looks great. We cut down to Cheetor. We see Cheetor going after another one of these Scorponoks, just absolutely laying into it. Nice little tackle there. We cut to Rhinox running through another one of them, the one that Cheetor knocked over, with RC riding on his back, just blasting folks. And Cheetor's running alongside him. And this just looks amazing. Honestly, I am so happy with what we're seeing here. And RC catapults off of Rhinox, landing in front of Wheeljack, who is standing there on his own, blasting them with these real cool-looking cannons that are coming out of his hands. And Wheeljack does not have the face guard on. So maybe we were wrong. Maybe there's no faceplate. But I heard people saying that who got early screening saying he does have a faceplate. But in the middle of a battle, he's not using it. So maybe that's an early indicator. But then we get the shot showing off all the logos and the Transformers logo at the end. And here's the shot where we get Mirage saying, Noah, take the wheel. And he tosses him the keys. And as soon as he puts his hand out, it hits his hand and starts transforming into like this exosuit. And I believe we see him on the bridge in a previous shot. So that's a real cool reveal. But here we see Bumblebee in this quote unquote like final battle area. With some Terracon drones like grabbing onto his car. He's half transformed, kind of sliding and grinding across the side, like his back wheel hanging off the side of the platform, and he's using his hand similar to what he did in the Bumblebee movie when they were kind of driving on the side of the road and he was using the railing to hold himself up. This is another shot like that, and then he transforms at the end, just kicking and flipping, and gets right into blasting. And it's a pretty cool shot to end the trailer. But man, that is the Transformers Rise of the Beast official trailer. Everyone was saying, are we even going to get an official trailer? Is we just going to go into this movie with this teaser? But no, we got an official trailer, and I'm really happy with it. I cannot complain. I'm honestly surprised that they showed as much as they did with Unicron. I thought they would have saved that for a reveal for the movie, which is also kind of why I think that there's going to be another reveal in this movie that may end up being even bigger. But honestly, that is just what we got in the trailer. I turned 2.5 minutes into probably like a 20-minute video, but it's worth it. There was a lot to go over in this. There was a lot to break down, and man, if there's going to be more revealed little things that I probably missed out coming in the coming days, coming hours, and I'm going to be covering all of it. I could not be more hyped going into this movie. This is the movie I've been looking forward to more than anything else this year, and I think with good reason. The trailers have been... there were some rumors coming out saying that the production behind this movie was in chaos. They didn't know what they were doing, but regardless of all this stuff, it looks like it's going to be a damn good movie. It looks like it's going to be very robot-oriented. It looks like the human characters are going to actually have valid roles to play rather than just run around and serving as a distraction for our protagonists. And I mean, live action Unicron. There's nothing else to say other than that. Live action Unicron, and he looks real damn good. So, really happy with this. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments down below. Likes, dislikes, anything is appreciated. And until next time, peace.